Still haven't tried the Locklicious all-natural hair care product line? Well, let's hear what the Lock community has to say about it.
I love how it sprays and how it feels, you guys. Like, it feels so good. And it smells amazing, you guys.
The Lock and Twist moisturizer was really good for me. The hydration mist was phenomenal.
This is the bomb, baby. I was really impressed, kind of blown away, and I think that if you're struggling, definitely go check them out.
And check out the 5-star reviews on our website. So, what are you waiting for? Go to locklicious.com to start treating your crown like royalty.
We have a story coming out of the Caribbean nation of Guadeloupe. Now, this particular nation is under French control. Yes, France had colonized many areas, right? And what France is doing is pissing off our brothers and sisters in Guadeloupe. Is they're imposing all of their mandates on them, and the brothers and sisters, they just not having it. So they took to the streets. And I want you to see this video. Let's go ahead and roll that clip. Now, after the brothers and sisters had really shown how they're, marching in the streets, for their rights, the French government is offering to discuss some autonomy for Guadeloupe, which has been racked by virus-related rioting and strikes that reflect long-running frustrations over inequality with the French mainland. I told you that Mzungu, everywhere he go, he causes calamity, no matter what language he's speaking. So they said the overnight offer by the government minister for overseas affairs, Sebastian Lecornu, said drew sharp criticism Saturday from the conservative and far-right candidates for France's April presidential election. Now, Guadeloupe uses the euro currency and has close political ties with the mainland, but high unemployment in Guadeloupe. Notice anywhere where black folks are at and them folks are in control, we got high unemployment. Notice that. And nearby Martinique, it's a high cost of living and lingering anger over historical abuses have prompted some local officials to demand change. Now, both Guadeloupe and Martinique are overseas departments of France. Basically, they colonized. Let's call it what it is. It said the recent tension in Guadeloupe and Martinique started because France's obligatory, mandates for healthcare workers and nationwide health pass to get into restaurants and other venues. To get the pass, people need to be jabbed or show proof of negative tests or recent recovery from the virus. Now, most medical personnel in Guadeloupe, about 85%, have had at least one dose, but uptake in the broader population remains limited at 46% of the adult population compared to 89% on the mainland. Anger and resentment over the government's handling of a toxic pesticide called chlordecone used for years in the French Caribbean after it was banned on the mainland and in the U.S. have fueled mistrust in the government's, virus policies and the central government in general. like chlorodione, it's used mainly in banana fields, is blamed for a record level of breast and prostate cancers in the region. And experts say it will remain in polluted soils for the next 700 years. Now, remember these cancer places in the U.S. where black people just getting sick because these people just basically poisoning the land. I say for 4 months since the mandatory jab for healthcare workers and the health pass rules were announced, demonstrations have multiplied by several trade unions. They want the government to abandon the measures or at least adapt them for overseas territories. Now, feeling they haven't been heard, unions launched a strike. It's an indefinite strike since November 15th, the deadline for healthcare workers to get jabbed or risk suspension without pay. Anger erupted into rioting 10 days ago, and in the Point a Pitre, they say the island's largest urban area clashes left 3 people injured, including an 18-year-old woman hit by a bullet while on her balcony. Now, the French government, those devils, on Friday decided to delay mandatory jabs for healthcare workers in the region until December 31st. Meanwhile, the protesters' demand have spread to include higher salaries and jobless benefits and the hiring of more teachers. Now, a third of our brothers and sisters in Guadeloupe population live below the poverty line, and the unemployment rate is 17%. The cost of living, meanwhile, is higher than the mainland because the island relies heavily on imports, yet salaries are lower. And water supplies have been a major problem in recent years because of obsolete pipes, mind you, Flint, that leaves some residents without water for hours at a time or even up to a week. Now, this is what France is treating their territory or their colonies. That people don't have water up to a week. Seriously? The black world need to come together against France. What they're doing in West Africa, what they're doing to our brothers and sisters in Guadeloupe and Martinique, we all need to come together and call France out and demand France to leave. You don't understand. Black folks can't sit here and allow this. Okay? You can't just focus on what the Chinese is doing, but you got to focus on what France is doing as well. Now, Dr. Arikana, she was the one that was calling out France, and because you have a bunch of bootlicking, shucking, and jiving raccoons that's in the African Union, they got her out of there. Understand? Because a lot of them bow their knee down to France too. But France has been a major problem. And how is it in the 21st century they're allowed to still keep colonizing and doing the things that they're doing in the African continent? The people need to rise up in the African continent, in West Africa, and they are doing it. They are doing it because I've seen the videos. They have said they want them to get the hell out. Brothers and sisters in Guadeloupe is rising up. Martinique, rise up against France. That's the only way you're going to get them out. You're not going to get them out by asking, begging them and treat us right. They're not going to treat you right. They're white supremacists. It's not in them to treat you right. Only people they're going to treat right is their own. And then if you look at how they treat their own, it's not much better either. You understand? All of you in Africa and the Caribbean must rise up against France in unison. Your brothers and sisters in Haiti did it, and they were successful. The only reason why Haiti suffers is because collectively the white supremacist world say we're going to punish Haiti for doing this. Because notice, the U.S. says nothing about what France do. The EU says nothing about what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And they say nothing. It's because they agree with it. They go along with it. So it takes the black people throughout the world to join together in a diaspora to speak up for our brothers and sisters. That's what my mission is. That's what I'm on. I'm on us fighting for ourselves. No matter where we at, no matter where my brothers and sisters at on the earth, I stand with you. I stand with you for freedom and justice. That's what I stand for you with. This is what our platform has been built off of, to give our brothers and sisters, a shine on the different things that's happening. Because I know sometime in America, this country teach you this, you don't be caught up on yourself and caught up with what you got going on and not paying attention to what your other brothers and sisters are dealing with sometime too. Those brothers and sisters need us to speak up for them and what France is doing, because France is the cause of that. And think about that. They're dealing with the same problems that Flint, Michigan was dealing with. These brothers and sisters sometimes don't have water up to a week. They said on this thing, water for for hours at a time. They got water and your water gets shut off. Could you imagine that? You don't got water for how you gonna take some baths? How you gonna wash your clothes? How you gonna do the things that you need to do? Water is something important. I mean, France, you acting like Lamar? You gonna cut somebody water off? Those of you who watch BMF, understand what I'm saying? I mean, France acting just like Lamar, cutting Guadeloupe's water off. These sick people, man. That's what I'm saying. White supremacy, that as a whole, we're talking about a global entity, must fall. It must fall. And they can't even handle this freaking virus. And maybe that's part of their judgment. Is that maybe. I'm not saying I'm God, because this virus is crashing their world. Every time you look up, look how quick they start running crazy when this new variant showed up. Start running, shut down countries and shutting down travel and that's not going to stop anything. You think you're going to get saved by shutting stuff down? No. It's going to get to wherever it needs to get to. See, I don't live in fear like that. But those of you who think you guard yourself and you have a right to tell people what to do, treat people any kind of way you want to, you can't control that virus. And that's what's freaking you out. But, leave me a comment. Let us think about our brothers and sisters, in Guadeloupe. And, that, like I say, them drums, boy, I'm telling you, them drums is something else. I told y'all really need to study that and tap into them drums. When y'all do protests over here, I'm talking about we really doing a protest. We need to pull those drums out. Y'all don't understand the power of those drums and things that we have done within our communities, even on the continent of Africa. Them drums is part of, your power source and spirituality. It's a lot of things in those drums. That's why they wanted to take everything from us. And those brothers and sisters, was marching with them drums. And like I said, that's how you do it. Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com.